Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on this pendant, and this pendant I've made for Halloween. So I'm going to wear it on Halloween, and I thought it would be fun to make sort of like maybe like something that's like resembles maybe a spider web, or it has that kind of Halloween vibe. But wait for it. You're going to see how this is really going to make it Halloween. It glows in the dark. So I found these glow-in-the-dark cabochons on Amazon, and I'll of course link them down below in the description box, that you can, and I thought, oh, well, let me just buy them and we'll try to bezel it. So here we did the bezel, and it was so much fun. It's a little challenging because when you're bezeling like a lot of the front of the stone, you have to make some decisions on what beads are going to fit and what aren't. Not every one is going to be the same, as you can see in the picture. Let me put the lights back on. It does change depending on which beads you use, what your tension is. So, if you're feeling a little bit adventurous and you want to play and you don't mind taking it out a little bit if you have to change a bead, or if you have to add a bead or whatever, then come on, stay, and let's make this pendant together. All right, so let's clear this off and we'll get them going. So you need this cabochon. This is a 25mm glow-in-the-dark cabochon. It's glass, and it's got the glow-in-the-dark paper on the back. So you can get 20 of these for, I think, $9.99, something like that, on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description box for you. I mean, 2 colors of delicas. I've got a 15-0. This is a Toho 15-0 Charlotte, and that's like a really cool bead. It's slightly bigger than a regular 15-0. It's got that one flat surface. I didn't mean to use this. I just picked out a 15-0, and I didn't look at it, and I thought it was just a regular 15-0, but it worked really well. You can try any 15-0 here, but you may have to adjust your beads, and that's why this is going to be fun if you're, feeling a little bit adventurous. We've got a 3mm bicone. That's a Preciosa. I've got this little bail, and I've got a 4mm jump ring that I put on the bail so I can put it on the way I want. I've got a stop bead, 3mm bugle bead. I've got 6-pound fire line, and this is thermally fused tough fire line. I love this stuff. It's different than regular fire line, and it's from the sporting goods store or online, so it is not by Beadsmith. Okay, and then I've got a needle case filled with different size needles, any kind of chain, beads, ribbon. I love this as a choker on a ribbon. Maybe a velvet ribbon would be cool. Anyway, so that's what we need. So again, I'm going to list everything in the description box of all the videos. So if you need to purchase anything or find something, it'll be down there. All right, so I'm going to clear this off and we'll get started. Let's start. So thread your needle with about, I'd say 4.5 feet of thread. Put on a stop bead. Leave about 15 inches after the stop bead, because we'll use that for the back of the bezel, but we're just going to do a short bit on the back of the bezel, so we don't need that much thread, so about 15 inches should do. So I picked up and I've dropped down to my stop bead 64 of my delicas, and I have alternated colors. I started with a blue and I ended with a silver. Start with our standard peyote bezel, so we're just going to sew it into a circle. So you're just going to sew through the first bead after your stop bead, which is this blue one. I mean, you can be doing all one color. It doesn't really matter, whatever you like. Okay, so just like that. So I've got my circle. I'm going to add delicas, so I'm going to pick up a silver. I'm exiting the blue, and the nice thing about alternating is that every time you're coming out of a blue, you're going to pick up silver and sew through the next blue. So, otherwise you're going to exiting here, pick up a bead, skip a bead, sew through the next bead. That's if it's all one color. And then you just want to make sure that bead pops up onto the previous silver bead, just like that. So we're going to continue doing this, picking up a bead, exiting here, skipping a bead, sewing through the next bead. Do that again. So if you're alternating, I'm just going to pick up a silver and sew through the blue, the next blue bead. I'm just going to do that all the way around, and then we'll step out to the end, and it's time to step up. So I'm picking up my silver, mixing the blue. I'm going to skip this silver, and I'm going to sew through this blue one, and then that silver one on the diagonal. Just like that. And now I have completed my round of silver delicas. Put on a round of blue delicas. So we're picking up a delica. I'm exiting the silver. I'm just going to sew through the next silver delica. So at this point, we're just picking up a bead, and sewing through the next sticking out bead, which is the silver. So you're just going to do this all the way around. And then we'll step up. As I'm coming around with these, this round, I'm just putting my thumb in like so, and I'm giving it a little curve inward, you know, just to get the shape going. So I've got a nice curve going, and I'm coming down to my last bead. So I'm going to pick up my last blue delica. I'm exiting the silver. I'm going to sew through the next sticking out bead, which is the silver, and then the one on the diagonal. Just like that. And that's going to complete that round. This is what it looks like. So far I have my last round here. They're the blue delicas. So I'm going to put that needle and thread aside. Just leave it there. We'll get back to it in a minute. And I'm going to take off my stop bead, you know, take the stop bead off the tail and thread a needle. So you'll be exiting, you'll be in one right here. So for me, it's going to be this blue delica. So I just want to move it to the outside here to the silver one so I can put some more beads on. So I'm just going to move it like so. And now I'm exiting that interior round of silver delicas, and we're going to start adding some 15-ohs. Round of 15-ohs here. So I'm picking up a 15-oh. I'm exiting this delica. I'm going to just sew through the next sticking out delica. So, you know, just like we've been doing, only we're using 15-ohs at this point. So we're getting the back, about a couple of rounds on the back, and then we'll get to the fun part. So just keep adding 15-ohs all the way around. And what you're going to do is you're going to step up at the end, and then you're going to add another round of 15-ohs on. So add 2 rounds of 15-ohs, and then meet me back here. So I've done with the first round, and I'm going to step up for those of you who want to step up with me. So exiting the silver delica, picking up a 15-oh, I'm going to sew through the next sticking out bead, which is the silver delica, and then the 15-oh on the diagonal. And now I'm just going to add my next round of 15-ohs by picking up a 15-oh and sewing through the next sticking out bead, which is the 15-ohs. So we're just going to do that all the way around. Down to the end with my last 15-oh. So exiting this 15-oh, I'm going to sew through this 15-oh and then the 15-oh on the diagonal to step up. So just like that. Now I'm done with that second round. So I'm going to put this thread aside. I'm not going to take it off yet or sew it in yet because you never know, we might need another round on the back, but we might not. So let's just leave it. It's nice and snug, and we'll see what we need after we finish the front. My cap is in, and I'm ready to continue. So I'm going to pick up 7 of my 15-oh Charlottes. So these are the Toho beads. I'm exiting one of the blue delicas. Let me pull in a little bit. So I'm exiting the blue delica. I'm going to skip the next 2 blue ones. Skip, skip, and sew through the next one. Just like that. And then I'm going to advance my needle through this silver delica and then the one on the diagonal. So the next blue one. So I'm back at the top again, and I'm going to pick up 7 of my seed beads. I'm exiting here. I'm going to skip the next 2 blue, skip, skip, and I'm going to sew through this one. Like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm exiting this blue one. I'm going to sew through the silver one and then back up to the blue, and I'm going to add 7 more, and I'm just going to continue in that manner until I have the whole thing done. Coming down to the end, I have my last 7 seed beads on, so exiting this blue one, skip, skip, sew through the next blue one, just like that. So now you have all your little netting beads on. So you want to advance your needle, so you're exiting the blue one through this silver one, through the next blue one. So we're headed to those 15-ohs. And then, so through the blue, and then through the the first 4 of your 15 O's. So just like that. So bead number, you want to just go up through the first 4. That's what it looks like. I'm going to pick up 2 of my 15-0, my Tohos, a 3mm bicone and 2 15-0s. And I'm just going to sew through bead number 4 of the next group of 7. So just find bead number 4. Like so. I'm going to put those on. You know, now at any time, if you're, you know, as you go along, if your beads aren't fitting the way you want them to, you want to add or subtract beads, but make sure that they're all even. Like, you know, you have 7 here, you want to make sure it's an odd number, and then we have the 2 on either side of the bicone. Maybe you are using a, you know, a smaller 15-0 and maybe a Miyuki, maybe you need 3 here and 3 here. So if you're not using the exact same beads I'm using, you might have to adjust a little bit. Okay, so 2 of my Toho Charlottes, my 3mm bicone and 2 of the Tohos. I'm going to sew through bead number 4 of the next group of 7. So just like that. And just see how it's kind of coming around like so. So you're just going to repeat that all the way around. Coming down to my last 2 15-0s, 3mm bicone, 2 15-0s. I'm just going to sew through bead number 4 again. That's where we started to finish off this round. So this is what it looks like. So now just reinforce by going through all the beads again. So reinforced all the way around, and I'm exiting a bicone. So I'm going to pick up a bugle bead, 3mm bugle bead, a 15-0 and a bugle bead, and I'm just going to sew through the next bicone. Like that. Do that again. Bugle bead, 15-0 bugle bead, through the next bicone. You got it. You're just going to do that all the way around. And my last bugle bead, 15-0 bugle bead. I'm just going to sew through that bicone that one we started with, like that. Now I have all those bugle beads on, and then I'm just going to advance through the next bugle bead and the next 15-0. So just like that. So I've come around adding all my bugle beads and with the 15-0 in between. So you're exiting the 15-0 in between 2 bugle beads. I'm going to pick up a 15-0 and a bicone, and I'm going to sew through the next 15-0 on the top of, you know, between those bugle beads. I do that again, 15-0 and a bicone. I'm going to sew through the top 15-0 between the 2 bugle beads. 15-0 bicone through that 15-0 in between the bugle beads. So you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. Down to my last 15-0 bicone. So I'm sewing through that original 15-0 right there. And then don't pull too tight right now because you don't want to, you know, those bicones like to cut thread. So you don't want to pull too tight. So reinforce this all the way around. Okay, so I've reinforced, actually went around a couple of times rather than pull it super tight because you don't want, like I said, you don't want the bicones to cut the thread. And then I just exited the bicone and then this 15-0 right here. You can just sew down. Can we sew down this bugle bead? Let's see. We'll sew down the bugle bead. Might want to change to a size, you know, smaller needle. That went through okay. And then through this bicone. You know, you just want to work your thread around. Whoops, work your thread around a little bit. And then you can, you know, come through here and then tie some, you know, and then, you know, maybe work through the delicas to you know, sew your thread in. And then on the back, so we still haven't done anything on the back other than those 2 rounds. You can add another round if you feel you need it. If not, then just sew this thread in through the delicas. And then you'll have your pretty little pendant. Add the bail now. I did, and I, for some reason, I lost the footage. So I'm just going to, you know, I'll just kind of talk you through this. So here's my piece. So you just want to come through, I'm going to come through this center blue delica here. So you see the two here, and then here's the one in the center. So I'm going to work over these 3 beads. This one, this one, and this one. I'm just going to go through. All you want to do here is just pick up. So I put a little jumping on my bail because I want to sew in this direction. So I'm going to pick up a bead. So I'm going to try a bicone here, coming through the bail, you know, the ring, and then another bicone. Let me grab one. You might want to, you could do a little druck bead here or a pearl, something dark, if you're worried about the bicones cutting thread. So we're exiting this blue bead. It's going to skip this one and sew through the next one. And that's how you're going to put your bail on. It's just going to sit. The bail should sit in between the beads. And all you're going to do at this point is you're just going to sew around the delicas all the way around and then come up through everything again. You know, we've done that like many, many times. And then, you know, sew around your delicas until your thread is nice and tight. And what you could do on one of them, I did a bicone, an 11-0, went through the ring, 11-0 bicone, if that fits better. So you can play with that if you like. So there you go. That's what your bail is going to look like. So get that done, come back, and we'll finish up. And here's the pendant. So I filmed the intro last night in the dark. You know, that's why you saw the glow in the dark. So it's during the day today, so I can't make it glow. However, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you make this and wear it on Halloween, just like a little lighthearted fun. All right, so take care, and I'll see you next time.